Okay, I want to talk about an empty coverage that I saw Arkansas get to many times in their game against Kent State. Now, I don't know if they were checking to this as part of the game plan, if this is a normal thing that they want to be in. They trust this in certain down and distances when the opponent gets in empty. But I'm bringing this up because there were a number of times in last week's game that BYU went into empty. So it's something that I know that they like to do. It creates space inside for these inside number 2 receivers and also for the Y. So it could be something that we see on Saturday. But if so, I want to kind of break down what Tampa 2 coverage is, because that is what Arkansas showed that they would get to when the offense went to empty. Now, they can get there a variety of ways on offense, right? We can line up in a 3-by-1, and then we can motion a guy out here to empty. We can line up in empty straight up and see if they check to it, right? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but I'm going to break down what Tampa 2 is and what are the responsibilities of the guys on defense. Okay, so first, you hear the word 2, okay? 2, that's going to be consistent. This is a 2-deep coverage, okay? These guys are splitting the field in halves. The difference between our standard cover 2 and Tampa 2 is the width. They're going to get a little bit more width than your standard cover 2. And the reason is because this Mike is going to sink to the middle of the field. That's the Tampa player. What he's doing is he's getting depth to protect the middle of the field, and he's almost going to be in this little rover spot, especially if offensively, if you run somebody vertically to the middle of the field, he is protecting the deep middle to take it away. So many times they'll be taught you're going to sink with depth and you are going to run to the upfield shoulder. Some teams, offensively, they know this, and then so they tell this whoever's running vertically, run until he beats you to your upfield shoulder, and then you can snap it off. That's an adjustment that many times a team will make. Or they'll tell the quarterback, as this guy runs to take off your upfield shoulder, that quarterback can throw a back shoulder ball to you, if that's where the play design is going. But I'm going to go ahead and get this seam ball out of the way because I want to continue to talk about the responsibilities underneath. These corners, just like they are in cover 2, these are your standard flat players. So what they're going to do is they're going to get hands on these outside receivers. They're going to push with hands on, and then they're going to get eyes back inside, back inside. Okay? The nickel, he is going to be your hook player. He has that standard hook spot to the front side. A lot of teams like to use this Tampa 2 when it's a 3-by-1 or an empty 3-by-2. But a big key is this player right here, this will player. Some teams call him like the jack player, depending on if they're a 3 down front and they're bringing the will off the edge. In any way they get to 4 down rush, this backside player has a much greater responsibility than this standard hook player. Because as the Mike vacates his space and he gets to this middle of the field to protect, now this will has to cover much more ground. So a lot of the times what you hear is he is covering and reading based off of the quarterback's eyes. If the quarterback's eyes are front side, you will see this will kind of creep towards this space front side because of the 3 receivers. A lot of the times that will free up this guy. A veteran quarterback, he'll know this sometimes, and based off of the concept, he knows that if my eyes start here, he's going to work in, and then now whether it's out of the backfield, whether he's coming out of the backfield or he's working here, this little spot on the field can sometimes be open because of how much this person has to play. So in Tampa 2, some of the key characteristics, just one more time. Half coverage by the safeties, but a little bit more width. You'll see this Mike, you'll see him turn and start to move to the middle of the field. Now, if nobody's pushing vertical, he'll settle. He won't continue getting depth. But if somebody is threatening that vertical middle area of the field, he will continue to push, and then that's going to create the backside hook player. This backside will, he has far more space to cover. So you'll see that space can be won in here on this backside. It doesn't mean that we stay away from these routes front side. There's some really good 2 Tampa beaters that you can run, but back here there is space.